I am 36 and I am here to tell you that it gets better. I posted this on Threads yesterday, and little did I know it would get so many comments, likes, and reshares. And then it made me think, are we really going through it right now? We very well may be. I feel like life in your 30s is a wild ride from the beginning of turning 30 to your mid 30s. And I think soon here I'm stepping into my late 30s, but I can speak from the initial experiences. I just wanted to simply let people know it gets better. And I was just shocked by the responses. So if you're scared that it won't get better, let me be proof that it does. If you haven't watched any of my videos, I invite you to check out some of my videos where I just share starting over at 35. If you've gone through trauma, I've experienced some serious trauma with cancer and baby loss and pivoting a career now at 35 too, relocating 3 different times. I just feel like, wow, I have this thought that the 20s are like a test run. I was talking to my dad about this the other day because so often we think we have to have it figured out in our 20s. We got to have the perfect job. We should be married now with kids. We should be buying the house. We should really be living the dream. And that's not really the reality. To me, my 20s really were like a test run. And I was intentional about how I spent my time and what I did. Looking back, there's some things I could have done differently, but I'll say this, the wisdom that I have now at 36, a soon to be 37-year-old woman in 2 months, is tremendously different from what I had at 25. And had I not bumped my head or bust my butt, I wouldn't have the experience. I wouldn't have the understanding that I have now. It wouldn't have taught me the lessons that I needed to be taught. It's almost like when your mom turns on the oven and she tells you, okay, that eye is hot, don't touch it. And you're like, okay, but how hot is it? Let me just do the pinky. I don't use this one as much. And then you get burned. That was life in my 20s for me. And mind you, I'm from the millennial generation. So I feel like we are already still trying to figure out how are we the new adults. So many of us are still playful, joyful, silly, sometimes unserious. We're a unique bunch, I will say that. But I was just like, wow, taken aback by all the comments. And then some people in their 20s even commented too, saying like, okay, I'm 29, I still have hope. You absolutely have hope. It is a rarity to have it all figured out in your 20s. I have some people that did. I have some friends that absolutely did, are married with kids, successful, moving up to the sixth job and senior directors and this and that and so many different variations. And then I have some of us on the latter end that are a little different. We're just now stepping into our career at 36. We're just now figuring it out. We're just now starting to make the money that feels good. We're just now starting to live the life that feels good. We are just now starting to heal from our inner child and our inner trauma and have self-awareness. So now the rest of our days can actually feel good and feel true. So I don't believe that there's ever a such thing as behind or delayed. I believe, though, there is a such thing as intentionality. And when you operate from a place of intentionality and you can take the lessons that you've learned and apply them and work on them and be intentional about not repeating some lessons that were maybe a little messy or sloppy, then that allows you to move forward in a much stronger way because you know who you are. I feel like a lot of my 30s have been me figuring out who is Renee? Who am I really? What do I like? What do I enjoy? And that didn't just come until the past year and a half. And I'm about to be a 37-year-old woman. I let people along my journey bury some of my dreams, bury some of my desires, bury some of my personality, bury some of my characteristics. This is a little embarrassing to say, but sitting down and journaling and looking back at all the things that I did, that's what I did do. I let myself play small. I dimmed my light in certain spaces. certain rooms. I let myself tolerate friendships that had ran their course way longer than they should have. I have let myself have a lot of different experiences. And it's like now, as a 36-year-old woman, I get it. And my dad would always tell me this growing up. I used to call everybody my friend. I was such a nice girl. And my dad would tell me, hey, everybody's not your friend. You got a lot of associates, but everybody's not your friend. He said, by the time you're done with college, you'll have this many friends and double the associates. He said, you'll be able to count on one hand who you really call a friend. And I was, of course, young, and I'm like, okay, Dad. And he said, time will tell. My dad loves to use that line. Apparently, it was a line my great granddad used to use. Time will tell. My dad says it to me all the time. Time will tell. And he's right, because at 36, he's absolutely right. I see the relationships that truly are their associates, and then I see the people that really are my friends. They're my sisters. And I didn't see that back in my 20s. And like I said, some friendships kind of overstate their welcome. So your 20s isn't for perfection. It's not for figuring it all out. Be intentional, yes, be mindful, because in the same token, we think we have forever and we really don't. My dad also reminded me, I may have to just get him on here. Let me know in the comments if you want to talk to my dad and you want me to do an episode with him. But my dad, he also said, where was I headed with this? What was I about to say? Oh, he said, the older that you get, the quicker time flies. And I'm like, that is so true, because how is today Thursday when yesterday was just Sunday? And I see what he means now. So many things have like been light bulbs now in my life, because I've had time, because I've had experience, because I've had heartbreak. I've had to restart. I feel like more times than I want to admit. But that restart is also because I wanted to be true to myself. Every single time it got me closer and closer to my truth. So I'm okay with the restart if it means I get to spend the rest of my time here on earth the way that feels good, the way that's honest, the way that is organic for me. But yeah, my dad was right. The older you get, it feels like the time really does pass by a little quicker. And then your values start to like heighten, For me, my values, I value family. I value community, connection, fun, adventure. Such a silly girl. I value my faith. I love having a good time. I value experiences, you know? And for the most part, I say I really connected with that the past year and a half. And earlier in my 20s, my values were a little different. Okay. So I was a little more active. Yeah, I probably valued the club on a Friday, or, waking up to roll out the bed to go to church on Sunday morning. I valued spending time with people that I called friends that were really associates. I valued being active, slightly in the streets. My values were just different. They were different. So to have this realization now and just know more of who I am, when I say I am 36 and life does get better, it really does. Now, it may not always equate to the riches and millions and having that like crazy number bank account, but the richness comes in so many different forms for me. And that also stems from being a breast cancer survivor. Because I was diagnosed at 32, I felt like that put my 30s on pause for at least a good 2 to 3 years. So now, as a 36-year-old woman, I am coming back to myself in different ways that feel just oh, they feel so rich, and it feels expansive, and it feels good because it's me. It's really me. And I'm allowing myself to be whimsical and curious and explore. I'm allowing myself to think outside the box and make outside the box my reality. I think there's something about the 30s, maybe the mid 30s, where we just become bold. It's like you don't care as much what people got to say or think about you. You don't spend your time there as much as you did earlier on, you move the way that you desire to move because it's what you want to do. We waste a whole lot less energy. We are so intentional with being true to ourselves. I think we have really cracked the code. I think we really have cracked the code. We've been healing stuff that our parents didn't heal and work on. I see my friends now striving to be better parents than, their parents were, or to do things differently than their parents did. I see my friends now intentionally planning out like the engagement, the wedding, and then having kids. And this is at 37, 38. Like the trajectory has shifted. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but it really has shifted. And I just think it does. It gets better. It almost makes me wonder if I'm in this mindset now, finally, and I'm feeling this at 36, what is 40 going to be like? And I'm a woman, I still desire to be married. I still desire to have children. I'm like, what will that look like? Who knows when that's going to come? Because only God knows when that's coming and when that's happening. But it's just a beautiful space to be in. So please know it gets better. And I'm an aunt of 12. So my nieces and nephews range from the youngest is 11 up until 26. So they're all in between, that age range, 15, 20, 22, like just 25, 23, just all that. So it's interesting kind of watching how some of them move and think and what they do and how I know things are for them in this generation and this time. I had a serious pep talk with one of my nephews because I'm like, hey, you're not behind. I know you feel or think you should be at this certain place by 25. I said, but you're not. You are exactly where you need to be. You've been diligent. You've been intentional. You took a minute off of work to seek some dreams and see if they worked out. It didn't pan out, and that's okay. You don't stop. You may sit down for a second to catch your breath, but you get back up. And then you do the work that you got to do until you can get to where you need to be. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop achieving. Don't stop pushing towards what it is that you desire. Just don't stop, and live your life. Find that balance of still being able to live your life. Find joy in the things that you're doing. Don't just go to work, 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 work. I feel like that's what a lot of us did as millennials. I mean, we worked. I remember that one time, that one year, honey, it may have just been a season. I had 3 jobs. I was like, who do I think I am? Out here with moving these 3 things. Like, girl. But yeah, I had 3 jobs. We really worked. And I feel he kind of takes that from his dad a little bit too. So I get it and still live. And that's the cancer survivor in me talking, like still live. And I think that's why I go so hard now with really wanting people to create a life that they love and create a life that feels good for them. Because life really is so short, this time passes regardless. If you aren't doing what you want to do, if you aren't living how you desire to live, then what are you doing? What are you doing? And you think you just have forever. So that's the balance of being in your 20s and still being intentional, right? Like you think you have forever, and then you'll look up and boom, you're 30. And it's like, wow, okay, let me start to lock in, get serious, find that balance along the way. If I could encourage people with anything, I would say never stop being curious about yourself. Never stop being curious, never stop learning about yourself, never stop seeking to understand yourself, and never stop creating experiences for yourself too. The more that you do that, I'm telling you, the more you will win in life. You will win in life. And because it starts from the here, from the here. It starts in here. It starts in here from the inside out. So that's just something that that's my word of encouragement. This, yeah, I wasn't expecting that thread to spark this conversation, but we're here. And I want to remind you it does get better. So if you're new here, my name is Renee. I create conversations that bring you home to yourself. I also want to let you know I have officially completed 1 year of graduate school to become a clinical mental health therapist. So clap for me, please. Please clap in the comments. I'm so excited to have the next 3 weeks off. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to just rest and relax and enjoy family, enjoy the holiday season, enjoy being with my mom and being with my dad. And that's another beauty, right? Someone can look from the outside in and probably not feel like my today reality is lavish and glamorous and glitzy, but it actually is for me. It's actually very rich for me right now because I know that at the drop of a dime, I can pick up and go anywhere in the world that I would like to go. But I'm right here, right now, because this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm grateful for that. I am grateful that I get to see my mom and dad. And I'm grateful that I get to have these moments right now with family. And that is something that being 36 has also taught me. The value of family for me is so high, and the value of connection and relationships for me is even higher. So, hey, use this time to continue to get clear on your values, even lifestyle. That's big too, right? Because your lifestyle also plays into your mood and your energy and how you want to feel. So if you love this video, please share it. We are growing our community here. If you have anything to share in the comments, let me know. How has 30s been for you? Let's get a thread going. Like either how has 30s been for you or what advice would you give to someone? What advice would you give? And we can kind of compile that because I mean, I did not realize how much people needed to hear that, and just needed that like reassurance and that reminder. So we never know what life is like for people on the other side. So until next time, friend, take care of yourself, be well, and I will talk to you later. Peace out.